They say, when the fog returns, it brings the ones who never left. Some places are forgotten because people move on. Others are forgotten because something wants them erased. In 1953, a small English village called Greyvale disappeared. Overnight, no bodies were found, no fire, no storm, just the quiet outline of where houses used to stand. The police called it an isolated evacuation. The newspapers said rural hysteria. But if you ask the locals, they'll tell you the fog came first. Tonight we travel into the mist to uncover the mystery, the fear, and the truth behind the village that vanished overnight. It began like any other winter evening, a light frost, a quiet wind across the moors. But then the fog rolled in, thick, heavy, unnatural, swallowing sound and sight. Witnesses from nearby towns say they could hear a low hum echoing from Greyvale's direction, like 1,000 bees under the soil. Or an old engine refusing to die. Around midnight, dogs began to howl. By 2:45 a.m., the power failed. Radios went silent. Clocks stopped, every single one, at 3:17 a.m. A farmer driving through at dawn found the road empty. The fog lifted. The village was gone. Later that day, search teams reached Greyvale. They found outlines where homes had been, foundations half buried, doorframes torn from stone. On one table, plates still arranged for dinner, steam frozen into ice. A chair fallen backward mid-movement, as if the people had simply stood up and vanished. For months, investigators searched the area. They discovered faint marks on trees, circular symbols carved deep, overlapping each other. One investigator, Arthur Linley, wrote in his notebook, "The forest hums at night." His handwriting trembled. Locals refused to enter the woods. They said it belonged to the old ones. Among the ruins, the team found an underground tunnel, blocked by collapsed earth. When they cleared it, the air smelled of salt, and on the walls, painted in red clay, were dozens of hands, small, childlike. Pressed into stone. The report never reached London. Linley went missing 2 weeks later. His watch stopped at 3:17 a.m. Officially, Greyvale was erased from records in 1955. But the mystery survived, whispered through generations. Some said the villagers were poisoned by underground gas. Others claimed Cold War experiments. Yet those who live nearby tell another story, one much older. They said Greyvale was built upon an ancient doorway, a convergence of energy lines that once served as a burial gate. Late in the winter of 1953, a group of townsfolk held secret gatherings in the church cellar. They believed they could speak with the dead. And according to the last surviving diary, we heard them answer. The next night, the fog returned. No one knows what truly happened, but symbols discovered under the altar matched Neolithic signs found in burial mounds 30 miles away. Signs that meant one thing: do not open. The villagers didn't listen, and Greyvale listened back. In 1981, an explorer named Michael Torrance claimed he'd located Greyvale. He recorded everything on a handheld camera. His body was never found, but his tape was. The footage begins with fog and static. You can hear him breathing, muttering, "I shouldn't be here." He walks through what looks like ruins, melted roofs, window frames half buried in dirt. Then, faint music plays, a child's lullaby, reversed. Suddenly the camera turns, capturing shadows moving through fog, though no footsteps can be heard. On the final frame, the light drops, the lens tilts toward a wall, covered in names, scratched over one another, until only one word remains visible: returned. The tape ends with a whisper: "You shouldn't have come." Scientists from Cambridge later studied the audio. They detected a low-frequency vibration, identical to those found in deep-sea trenches, known to cause nausea, hallucination, and fear. They concluded the sound might have driven the villagers mad, but that doesn't explain the footprints found miles away, nor the matching handprints discovered in an abandoned mine 30 miles east. Time itself seemed fractured there. Compass needles spun, watches stopped. And every night, between 3 and 4 a.m., local shepherds hear bells echoing across the empty fields, where no church has stood in 70 years. Sometimes they see lights, small lanterns, flickering just beyond the trees. When they approach, the lights vanish, but in the fog they swear they can still hear children laughing. Greyvale is not on any map, yet sometimes travelers see a sign on the highway, rusted, tilting, the letters barely legible. "Welcome to Greyvale." Those who stop never find the village, only fog and the faint ring of a church bell. So if you ever drive alone through the countryside and your radio turns to static, if your watch slows and the fog begins to rise, keep driving. Because maybe Greyvale didn't vanish. Maybe it's waiting.